The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
All right, welcome back to my Checka, the show where I talk to dope people doing dope things. This is a special one right here. We go back to the beginning of the arts of blogging. Before it was cool to be a blogger. With him and his wife had their blog, because that was your first blog, right? Or did you have a blog before?
That was the first. Yeah, that was the first one. Yep.
Black Married with Kids. We done 3-4 different conferences together on panels from Blogging While Brown. I forgot the other one that Danielle used to do here in St. Louis.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was him and Brother Tech. They always embraced me and everything, man. And now this brother is the guru on getting that acquisition for your marketing efforts at the highest spell basis on them digitally and online. My man, Lamar Tyler, thank you for coming on my Checka, man.
Oh, my pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. I was excited when I saw the invite come over. Couldn't wait to be here.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. I know you're based out of Atlanta now, but you are from Atlanta, right?
No, I'm from PG County, Maryland, right? DC area. But we've been in Atlanta now for 13 years. So we've been here for a minute. Yep.
So how's Atlanta versus the DC? Because both of them are chocolate cities, chocolate city north versus south.
Yeah, that's a great question. And what I tell people all the time is that they are, from the outside looking in, they're very similar, right? You know, you got black folks at all economic levels, right? You got the hood, and you got like $1 million plus neighborhoods you go into where every single house is owned by a black family. So you like living in either one of these spaces is different from a lot of America, because you see so much. Like growing up in the DC area, I always knew I wanted to live down south somewhere, but when I traveled around places, it was hard for me to adjust because I was used to seeing black folks everywhere.
Oh,
right. So like DC and Atlanta, it don't matter if you go into the raggediest spot or the most upscale spot, you can't escape us. Like, we're gonna be there, right? Yeah. So when I go into a lot of cities and I see how segregated a lot of cities are, to where if you go somewhere nice, like you're the only black person in there, I ain't really accustomed to that. So Atlanta, so like I said, from the outside looking in, they look the same. But I say a lot of time what the difference is entrepreneurship is different here in Atlanta. And when we came, that's one of the reasons I came, because everybody that was doing what I wanted to do as far as entrepreneurship, digital marketing, full-time, they all were in Atlanta. So I said, I need to be in Atlanta too. And when I got here, I noticed at the time, what made it special to me was like, it's an ecosystem of entrepreneurs. And a lot of times it's not even just Atlanta folks. Most people I meet ain't from Atlanta.
Right.
But I feel like what Atlanta does, and I didn't really realize this until I moved down here, because I wasn't, from this part of the South. I feel like Atlanta plucks a lot of the brightest people from all these surrounding cities. And we just a few hours from a bunch of, the South's biggest cities. But I feel like Atlanta's like a magnet that attracted them all here. But then, it just keeps doing that. Started pulling people from New York down here. Started pulling people from Cali here. And it's just like attracting a lot of top talent. But then also the time we got down here, one of the biggest differences between DC and Atlanta used to be cost of living. Like, cost of living was exponentially cheaper. So when we got to Atlanta, I found people that could say, hey, you know what? I want to be a full-time entrepreneur and just leave their job. In the DC area, it's so expensive to live.
You can't do that.
No, you know what I mean? Like it's no way possible.
The company already got to be doing 9 figures for you to be
exactly. It's like, it's no way possible you could do it. Like, so it shocked me when I got down here. It was a lot of full-time entrepreneurs and it was a lot of stay-at-home parents. which was different because in the DC area, you could be married, have a kid, but like both of y'all got to be working and almost making six figures for you not to be somewhere where your car can get broken into, right? So it's just different. But I noticed like, hey, when you don't have to pay so much just to live, it allows you to take a lot of different chances that you can take otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's what I saw when I was down. Now prices have skyrocketed up right post-pandemic. So I think we're a lot more comparable to a lot of, northern other cities before. But it's still different, man. Like the entrepreneurship vibe is different. And if you got a business that specifically speaks to Black folks, it's like the market is here, your avatar is here, your customer is here. It's so many people for you to collaborate with here. It's all those things as long as you get in the right circles.
So man, that's ATL is just, they say it's the new Wakanda. But I always like, man, I always remember Chocolate City coming up. Everybody's like, oh man, it's Chocolate City, it's Chocolate City. But it's shifted in like the mid 90s.
I'll tell people this too, right? It's a lot of people that make a lot of money in DC. But when I was there, most people made a lot of money in DC, did it through working, right? There were a lot of like high paying jobs. There's a lot of Black people that make a lot of corporate money in DC. They make a lot of government money in DC because the federal government is there. They make a lot of money for government contractors. So when I was there, I had made great money, but it's the same type of thing. I made great money working for a company, a corporation, and it's a lot of potential in that lane. Down here, it's just like a hustle, and the hustle is different.
Yeah, so it's because it's a melting pot of all the best hustlers. It's almost like like when you have a gang fight, when like in the movies where like they take the best fighters from all across the country and then put them all in one Thunderdome. That's basically Atlanta.
That's it, man. That's totally it.
So let's take it back, man. You grew up in DC. What was your original plan before all that? Like, what was yours like when you were like 17, 18? It's like, this is what I thought my path would be. What was that envisioned for you originally?
I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what entrepreneurship was. And I didn't have anybody. I didn't grow up like in the family of entrepreneurs. I didn't necessarily have people around me. Later on, I stumbled on a Black Enterprise magazine, which I attribute to a lot of my success because it allowed me for the first time to see people that look like me and be like, oh, this dude doing what? Oh, she doing what? Is she making that amount? Like, that's crazy. Like, and just expand my mindset about what was possible. But in the meantime, since I knew it might be a journey, I was in IT, right? Like around that time, I was like, hey, what's something that I can enjoy doing that I make a lot of money with? And it was, it was IT at the time. It was IT shortage. So, I got certified, got my IT certification, started working that lane. But while I was working it, I was still on the side, always trying to build a different business. And this might have been like the 20th business I started because, I literally was like 20 years old, like, all right, I'm gonna try to do this. Then I'm like every other person, I tried to throw parties for a while, right? And I was doing parties. I know you've done some parties for, man.
You already know.
I did parties for a while. Then I was, I went out. I remember I went out one time to out to Texas. It wasn't Fort Worth, maybe it was Plano or something. But I went out to Texas and I went to some franchise thing out there. I was gonna do a franchise. So literally, it was like all these different things. For a while, I had 2 dump trucks.
What franchise are you gonna do?
I don't even remember. I think it was like something HR related. We're using the HR process or something like that. Okay. But I ain't know no HR people. I ain't know how to sell HR people. So I was like on board with it. But I was like, oh, hold up, I don't know.
I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what my next step is. So I tried all these different things, trying to figure it out. And that's one of the pieces of advice I get to people the most now is that it's a different age now, of course, because you got access to so much information, right? When I'm doing all this, I'm talking about like mid 90s. So mid 90s, internet was just coming out. It wasn't Twitter, it wasn't Facebook, it wasn't YouTube University. It wasn't all these places where you could say, how do I do this? And they just come up. It wasn't all these influencers that you could follow, just leaving breadcrumbs and telling you, I did this, I did that, and showing you like in their reels and stories with a behind the scene of their day. Like none of that existed. So it was a lot of trying to figure it out over and over again. And what I learned the hard way there was that the best way to figure it out was just to hire somebody that already knew it. And but we learned that like way down the line. Right. Even once me and Ronnie started. We probably say what we did in our first 7 years, we probably could have done in 3 if we would have had coaches and consultants and been going to, more conferences and things like once we finally picked up that, hey, you know what, we just need to invest in ourselves, invest in our personal development, education, hire consultants and coaches that already know what we're trying to do so they can just tell us. And that's when everything took off.
Wow. So because most people think that I got to be a man of many hustles with different hats, but sometimes it's cool to outsource and pay for it.
That's it. And that's what people don't get. Like so many times I see people having conversations where they like, why would I pay somebody else? So you ain't got to figure it out. I mean, like all the mistakes we made were just self-inflicted because they were like the process is already down, right? That's like somebody coming to me now and been like, yeah, the last 3 years I've been trying to figure out how I can build a list, an email list or a Facebook group or whatever. I mean, I figured that out. You know what I'm saying? Like 2009. Like, you know, you keep trying for the next 3 years trying to figure it out. I can just tell you, right? So literally, it's look, and it does not just at getting into business, that's at every level. So now my cheat code is I'm always just trying to find somebody that I can pay to give me access to the information I want. So if I'm trying to figure out how to build a bigger team, then we get an HR consultant or something like that to give us the game on exactly what to do and how to do it. I'm trying to figure out how to make, better short form content, or if I'm trying to figure out how to run better ads or whatever like that. I just want to find the person that's the expert and directly dial into them, because what I realize is that's not expense, then it's an investment. And the money that I invest in that, I'm going to get back tenfold faster, and it's going to be bigger when it comes.
Dang, that's real. Wow, that's real. And it's so crazy because that's how it is with anything. Like if you're going to, you got to be able to scale it, you're going to have to pay at some point if you're going to scale it.
Man, I tell you, if you think about sports, if you had a child that showed potential in, let's say, basketball, and he or she was real good at basketball, and you say like, oh my goodness, one day I think they can hit the next level. The first thing you go do is get them a coach. Yes. That'd be the first thing. You'd be like, oh, they need a coach, they need a trainer, they need somebody to work out with, to get the shots and to do this, do that. It's the same thing in business.
But the opposite would be, I'm gonna go out there shooting with them. Like I'm gonna train them.
I ain't never even played high school ball, but I can take them to the. I can take them.
Everybody's not Mr. Williams,
right? Exactly.
Everybody ain't there.
Exactly, and that's it, man. It's like this is the last thing I'll leave on this is that two of my friends, Paul and Marshawn, were doing an interview, and Paul asked Marshawn. He said, "Hey," and it's Marshawn Evans Daniels. Said, "Hey, Marshawn, I noticed that you mentor a lot of people. Like, what's your thoughts on mentorship?" And she said, "Paul, at one point I realized that too many people are waiting to get picked, and you get to pick a mentor because you can pay a mentor." And when she said that, like, boom, my mind was blown.
Hold on.
Because so many times.
Say that one more time for the people in the back. One more time.
You get to pick your own mentor because you can pay a mentor. And so many times, in our community, I feel like we waiting for somebody to come through and pick us. Somebody be like, you know what? Who that brown skin bald head brother in the corner, right? He looked like he looked like
the grocery store.
Like, yeah, right. Like I'm just running for you. Be like, you're hoping somebody to see your Instagram or your YouTube short or something and say, you know what? I saw that from you. I want to work with you. Let me bring you in my circles. Let me introduce you to some people. Give you some. Nah, they ain't how it work. Man, I'll be 50 years old in a couple years. Still ain't nobody came up to me and be like, I just want to mentor. And I'll be out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been out here for a long time. Ain't nobody ever came like, you know what? I just want to hook you up. Come on with me, right? That don't happen. But what has happened is I found people that had the information. And then I was like, do they got a coaching program? Do they got a course? Do they got a conference I can come to? Do they got like a 2-day intensive I can learn from, right? I asked them, hey, do you do consulting? Right? Like, and when I learned that, it freed me because then it put me in control. And too many times, like I said, when you waiting for somebody to pick you, you ain't in control. You be the one going out there picking the people you want to work with.
Dang, that's a jewel right there, man. That's a jewel. So like back when because you and your wife started Black Married with Kids, what was 07?
Yep, December 2007. That was it.
07. What? Because that, I mean, y'all was growing popping. We were all like, and I tell people all the time, it was so beautiful of a time period.
It was.
That because everybody had their own individual brands that were still big enough to have their own advertising on it, have their own things. That's before. And someone asked me before, like, well, what happened? I was like, well, these big conglomerates came through, start basically buying up the blogs or buying up the actual people running the blogs and pull them into their Rudders or Gawker or Complex, any of those. How was you transition because I feel like the blog era hit the whole around 2013. I feel like. Mm-hmm. What made you transition into this the lane, the acquisition lane from there? Because y'all was blowing, like the Facebook group, the fan group, everything was big.
Yeah.
What made you transition?
Great question. One of the and you hit on the head. One of the other things I always tell people that happened around that time too, right? Like one of the precursors, 2009, 2010 was Facebook.
Yes.
Right? Because I don't know if you remember, because I tell people all the time, like before Facebook, our sites were such a community.
Where people would come on there commenting like it was Facebook.
And you knew them. And you knew the people. You would know, like, I knew, like, hey, this lady, she live in Ohio. She got 3 kids. Hey, this person, because literally we were our own community and our own ecosystem. So when Facebook came, then we go from them, even if we're still getting the traffic, we go from them no longer leaving comments on the blog. Now they leaving comments on Facebook.
Right.
They see the article, they like, oh my God, that's so good. And they go back to Facebook and leave a comment on it. We like, hold up, this different.
That's losing me traffic.
Because now I ain't got comments. Even when I had traffic, I ain't had comments no more. And then the next thing was a couple years later, like I said, probably around that time, 12, 13, when Facebook start, first cutting on that algorithm and stopping it so that, hey, it used to be like, hey, when somebody liked my page, Facebook let them see the stuff. Mm-hmm. Then it went from like, hey, we like your page, but we ain't seen none of your stuff in like a month. You still posting? And we like, yeah, we posting 8 times a day, right? And they not seeing it, people not being accustomed to that. So the change of social shifted us up too, but probably one of the best things that could have happened. I had a friend, Jenks Morton, that's a filmmaker. And Jenks got a bunch of DC bloggers together. And he told us, he said, man, what y'all are doing is amazing. He said, but the problem is ain't none of y'all got product. And I'll never forget, right? We met at, I think it was Busboy and Poets in DC, in Northwest DC. And he gave us this like little, it was like a tongue lashing almost, right? He like got after us a little bit. And we was just like, all like, yeah, whatever, right? But we get this ad money, you know what I'm saying? We get the ad money, Jenks. You don't understand, because he really wasn't a blogger like we were. But that stuck with me. And I had a follow-up conversation with him. And Jenks said, well, what's your goal? And I said, my goal, man, is get a lot of traffic, go viral. He's like, but like, what's the real goal? And you remember back then, like Steve Harvey on the morning show, they would highlight somebody and it would literally get so much traffic, it would shut their site down.
Yes.
And remember that? And I remember it'd be like Patti LaBelle coming in. We were like, man, we about to shut her site down, y'all. Everybody go to PattiLaBelle.com. Right. And then boom, it'd be done. And Steve Harvey come on, like, we told you, y'all ain't ready for. So I told him, I said at the time, I said, man, my goal is to get on the Steve Harvey morning show. Right. We knew we had a good product. If you get in front of people, we just needed to get in front of people, get awareness. But he's like, then what happened? So I said, we get on there, we're gonna get a whole lot of traffic to the site. He's like, but then what happened? I said, whenever we get a whole lot of traffic, we don't keep everybody, but normally if we rise up, then when we come back down, we never come back down to where we started. So we retain a bunch of people. But he's like, but then what happened? And I said, well,
you keep on trying to explain it.
Right. So I'm like, I feel like I'm out here, right? So I'm like, well, after that, after we get the people, we'll make money from advertising. But he was like, but then he kept asking me, but then what? And eventually I had no answer. And he was like, man, you need a product. Because he said, if them people come to the site, you got a product and they buy from you. Now you got customers. And that was when I realized that customers were greater, not equivalent to, not less than, but greater than readers. Right? Because at that time, remember, like everything was just all about how many readers can I get, how many page views I got. Like that's rate. I make all my money off of that. And then, that started us down the path of creating product. When we started creating product, I started realizing that I could take back control, because up to that point, like, again, we made all our money through advertising. So what I started realizing was that we were making less content to please the people and making more content to please the advertisers. Because if that's how we get paid, right? Yep. Then if I know the advertiser want to see this kind of content and they looking for this for their brands and campaigns, then that's the kind of content I got to make.
Yeah.
But when we started making product, the product was all about the people. I got to figure out what their pain point is. I got to know who I'm talking to. I got to know what they're dealing with. I got to know how to overcome the challenges they got. And when I do that, everything I'm doing is focused on that person that's coming to read to the site. So then when I do that, like everything changed. Then we start making money. The money we making is directly from the consumer. Then we starting to make better product and better articles, right? Because we locked in exactly what they need on the front end to get them in, and then we sell them what they need on the back end to get them the help they need. And like I said, then it just blew up. So then I can go to the advertisers. They come to me and be like, hey, we want to do such and such. I'm like, nah. Like, then I could get real selective about
how many reviews did you do that you didn't want to do because it was an advertiser?
Right, exactly, right. And it was, I think about it before, like we never did stuff that just was straight out like against us. Right? I remember we had we'd have like check cashing places come to us. And they'd be like, you got all these black people, we give this money for check. I was like, no, I'm not doing no payday loans.
No checking to go.
Right. I'm not doing no payday loans, no check. Like, y'all ain't gonna get me. But then it's a lot of gray area stuff where like stuff we weren't passionate about.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it came with a check, so we did it, right? We're like, man, I don't use this stuff, but whatever. Put this little t-shirt on, do this little dance, right? But when we started serving the customer, then we really could say, you know what? we turn down 80% of the ad stuff, and we only want 20%, the real stuff that we like. Yeah, I've been driving this car for the last 8 years, so I would love to do something because this is what we get around in every day, right? This is what we drive our kids into, so I believe it. And like I said, it just changed everything. But when that process of creating product, we also got really good at selling it, right? We got good at marketing. We got good at doing live events. We started doing documentary films. So we make docs and then sell them in DVD, then bundle up DVDs, then do screenings with 300, 400, 500 people in the theater, sold out. And then we start doing tours, right? We do our own 10-city tours. So in all of this marketing, it was a lot of people that saw us because we had a big community. We had over 500,000 people on Facebook. We've been doing about 300,000 plus readers a month. So we rolled like 1 million people a quarter. And people kept saying, like they saw me and Ronnie start as just like a husband and wife in our bedroom. Then they saw us. Now we got an editor. Now we got 40 plus freelance writers. Now they're in the office. So they literally saw the business being built in front of them, and they started coming to us saying, "Hey, can you teach me how to build a business like you did?" And then that's where the birth of Traffic Sales and Profit came. Just we started.
And now you have a product,
entrepreneurship, and really that's where my we like the marriage stuff, but my real passion is on entrepreneurship. Because I told you from a child, I always know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I was always reading that magazine. I didn't say know how to do it. So once we learn how to do some things, then I love like showing other people, especially in our community, how they can do the same things, right? We close generational wealth gap through entrepreneurship.
So that's how you guys came up with. So basically, you said like, well, so what was the first original product that you all was it merch?
Nah, the first on the Black and Married with Kids side of the product. Yeah, Black and Married with Kids. The first product was I think it was a DVD.
It's a DVD. Okay.
It was DVD. And we had no previous experience. So my man Jenks, the same guy. This is 2009. So he had just bought an HD camera, sold me his old SD camera. And I just bought some stuff on the website. But one day I was talking to my wife Ronnie, and I was like, I think we should do it. Because I'm always trying to like, how can we outpace everybody else and just think next level? So I said, I seen this movie and I loved it. And I was in the conversation. So I said, I think we should do a movie. But I was like, we ain't got no money to pay nobody to do a movie. I say, like, you do splits on stuff. I'm like, it's cool till the money come in. Then it's like, what we gonna do with it? It was like a whole bunch of questions. And she said, well, you got the camera. I think you can do it. And I don't know why she said that, right? Because it was wild. And Lucy, if you saw the first movie, you might be like, well, actually, you couldn't do it. That first movie is trash.
You could have outsourced it.
Right. But, so what happens, I took his camera. I got some like, $200 lights off Amazon. Got these janky microphones off of Amazon that were terrible. And for 2 weeks after work every day, I just went and interviewed couples. And then, I got this Dell laptop and this editing software called Sony Vegas from Best Buy. And I just was like in my little bedroom.
I remember that. I know that program.
Yeah, man, like $70 at Best Buy. So like literally, I just was at home editing stuff together, making it. In our very first screen in Connecticut Avenue, Northwest DC, we sold out. It was 160 seats. And I didn't know like what the goal was. I don't remember what the goal was, how we was going to do it, but we sold out. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, man, it's like 160 people came out here to watch a movie we made. And at that event, we also had t-shirts. So we sold t-shirts down the merch, right? But like I said, we just learned. So that was the first thing. Then we came out with another movie the next year. And then the next year. So we did a movie every year for 5 years straight. And then ended up doing 2 more down the line. But in that, again, like I said, we got good. And then we started doing bundles. Then we started, like I said, people like, hey, come to my city. Start traveling to different cities. Then we learned how to market in cities that we didn't live in. And like I said, literally was just a progression going step by step.
Man, that's so we're transitioning to now you being more of a coach, mentorship. What if for you is some of the 3 of the things that people don't know that they could do to take that to the next level they have right in front of them? Because most time people are like, oh man, I don't have the budget to do the IG post. I mean, I don't have the budget for the Twitter things. What is like the tangible things that they could do that you've seen?
That's great because all those excuses, and this is what I'm telling you, like a lot of times people make every excuse. They try to disqualify people that are successful, and they make every excuse about they're in some certain situation that the person successful is not in. But what they don't know, like I've had a chance to coach and look up close to hundreds of 6-figure companies, probably now in the ballpark of 50 or so 7-figure companies and 5 8-figure companies we work directly with, right? 8 figures on $10 million a year. And what I'm gonna tell you is they face all the struggles they done came from the same beginning stretch, whatever, right? That everybody else has. The difference is, for one, they got a different type of grit. Meaning when stuff happen, they keep going, right? I tell people all the time, your business don't care. Your business don't care about your personal life. It don't care about you getting sick. It don't care about, somebody, close to you passing. It don't care about your romantic relationships. You together, not together, divorce, break up, come back together again. Your business want to eat every single day.
Yes.
and what I realized, right, is the most successful people, they able to compartmentalize their emotions to the side. The emotions don't impact the business. When things happen in their personal life, it don't throw their business off the rails. Probably everybody listening has had a time when they hired somebody, especially work with small business, right? You hire a small business to do something, and then something happened in their personal life, and they go ghost on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, man, I'm sorry that happened to you.
But I still got stuff to get
But
done.
once you took my money, I need my stuff done, right? But like so many business owners operate like that. So I'll tell you this, the three things. Number one, most people have a great product or service. They just don't have enough eyeballs on it. There's traffic, right? So they need more leads. Like people got to see it. And we talk about people seeing it. You need to be doing one of three things. My mentor told me a long time ago, forget new traffic, you either build it, borrow it, or buy it. And we talk about building it. That's organic, right? That's like I'm posting on social, shaking hands, kissing babies. I'm going to networking events. Asking you who you know, if you know people, like all the organic stuff. Borrowing traffic is when you go out and find somebody who already got an audience. So back in the day, if you were a marriage, therapist or something like that, or a counselor, you would come to us, Black and Married with Kids, because we already had hundreds of thousands of people on the list.
And get a guest blog on.
Exactly. So instead of you trying to start your own thing, that would be crazy. You can come to us who already got the built-in audience, and we need people like you. And then boom, you can tap in right away if you got the talent and skill set for it. And then the last thing is buying it. That's paid traffic. That's advertising. That's like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google, TV, radio, whatever it is. And too many times, small businesses, even when we were successful, right? People that's not successful yet say, I don't have the money to advertise. People that are successful say, well, I'm getting all this money, all this traffic free. Why I got to pay for it? but that was, we were getting like, say, 100,000 people a month. But one day I thought about it, Darryl, and I said, hold up. I said, if McDonald's advertise, Nike advertise, Walmart advertise, Macy's, I can go down the list, right?
Yeah.
All them advertise. What made me think that I shouldn't have to? Because more
people start advertising when the numbers go down instead of they're like,
late.
oh, well, we kind of falling off. Now we got to do some ads now.
And that's the thing, right? Because I'm like, if Nike got 97% market share in basketball shoes, but they still run ads for basketball, and everybody know Nike, don't nobody know me. so what make me, it's like wild the way we think, right? So one, people got to get more traffic, they got to get more eyeballs to get their stuff in front of more people. Number two, people need to have better offers, right? Like I really try to focus on people have irresistible offers, because a lot of times people see what you got, but it just ain't enough to make the move. And you thinking that, hey, most people either like it or don't. Nah, I would say most people are just sitting on the fence. They're not even like yes or no. They just like, I don't know, I'm gonna come back later, right? So is the offer good enough to make them not just take action, but to take action now? To say, think about like something in the past that you've seen where you literally was like, well, let me just get my credit card out now because I don't want to forget. Like that's the kind of thing you want, like, or you like, hey, like this is my last chance. Like they said, I can only get it till midnight. I gotta hurry up and get this thing because after that, the price gonna go up, or I'm not gonna be able to get it. Or, people think like in everyday life, for the sneakerheads, when a new shoe drop, are they like, well, I'm gonna get it when I get a chance. I'm gonna come back to it. No. Nah, because they know it ain't gonna be available. So they like, hey, let me be mobbed out outside the store. I don't know what that's about. But they like, let me be mobbed outside the store, camping out for hours. Because we need to figure out how we can do the same things with our products and services. We're gonna have irresistible offers that make people go crazy. And then when they see it, they can't say, well, you know what? I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna see what everybody else doing. I'm gonna come back now to say I gotta get it now because I'm afraid it ain't gonna be here, or the price is gonna go up, or it's not gonna be the same, or a bonus is gonna get stripped away, or something like that. And then, like I said, my last thing I say is that we need to get more educated. Too many times people are not educated enough. So that could be, like I said, coming to a conference. That could be connecting with other people. It could be having accountability partners. Whatever it is, like you just got to get educated. And like what I've learned is that, and I still pay for coaches. Like once I figured out that hack, like back in 2012, I ain't stopped. So I still go to conferences. I still get coaches. I still get consultants. I'm still in masterminds. I'm still doing all the stuff because I know that I don't need everything. I just need one thing, right? I'm always looking for one thing. One thing is what take me to the top every time. When I told you I advertised. When I started advertising, I got that nugget about why I'm not advertising. we went from selling, we were selling bundles of our movies, right? The Black Family Film Pack. We went from selling 4 bundles a day to 22. Major. I mean, like overnight.
That's 5 times. That's 5x.
Listen, I mean, major. We went from like, oh, you know, we can ship every couple of days because it wasn't that much, right? To like, dang, like we got to get like a real shipping process.
Yeah, y'all got to y'all got to get a real shipping machine with
exactly. We might have been handwriting labels up that point, right? But we had to get a real machine. We had to really start going. It's like then we had money coming in. We could hire people, right? It's like literally most of the time in business, it ain't a million things. It's just one thing. Like, what's the one thing for you that's gonna pull that lever and then elevate you to the next run?
Man, so tell us about the podcast and the video, the YouTube page that you guys got going on, man, which is super dope, man. I like, man, I'm subscribed to all that good stuff, man.
Oh, thank you. Yep.
Man, like describe that because you have different types of people giving different kind of business entrepreneurial advice there. It's not just you. So it's like, so people are like, oh man, I don't know if it's different types of people on there giving different
types of people. Yeah, we blessed. We got an amazing community of 40,000 plus Black entrepreneurs, just purpose driven, trying to reach the next level. And I mean at high levels too. So what I love to do is bring them in and have them teach, because I know a lot of them. So I bring them and have them teach everything from e-commerce to brick and mortar to vending to product-based, service-based, you know, B2C, B2B. No matter what it is, I got somebody just walk through that. And then what we've done now is we've taken a lot of that content that we've created, and now we're making more original content too from, you know, Instagram and YouTube and on the website and such, to now we got a network, right? The Convo. Mm-hmm. And that network is available on, if you listen right, I want you to get your phone out and download it now. It's available on the Apple Store, the Android Store, Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV for your TV devices, and online at theconvo.tv. But on the Convo, right, I got my my podcast show on there, the Traffic Sales and Profit Show. We got a show about real estate. We just dropped this in, I think on episode 4 or 5 right now, Property Power Play. We got shows about Black business icons. We got roundtable talks. So like everything around Black business and Black wealth is what we're doing with the Convo to really create a different type of content to help me, right? That me that was like 17, 18. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to do it. If I had something like the Convo, I would have done it probably by that time I was 25. Yeah,
but but everybody's got their own journey though. Your journey is your journey.
Yep.
At the same time, but like you said, you could have shortcutted it. For
the next person.
Especially for younger cats. I be telling like my young cousins, I'm like, man, we had none of this stuff when I was like in college, man. I mean, we had instant messenger was like the biggest thing in the dorms, you know, back then. Y'all can be an influencer before you graduate from college.
Exactly. You could be a CEO of $1 million company from your bedroom.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody
know who you are.
Exactly. And it wouldn't even be weird, right? Like back in the day, it'd be like, you know, you got to see people and do stuff. Like now, like it wouldn't even, man, people like, am I going to get my stuff on time? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
And that'll be it.
But man, as we wrap up, let everybody know where they can check out and look at all your materials, everything, you know, give us all your social handles, all that good stuff.
Sure. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere at Lamar Tyler, LamarTyler. And to find out more about what we do to help business owners, you go to the website Traffic Sales and Profit, and that's A&D, trafficsalesandprofit.com. On there, you'll get a link to our free Facebook group, right? 40,000 plus entrepreneurs. You get access to me and my wife's free books. We got free paperback books we'll send you. Use cover shipping and handling. So you get a hold of those. And then there's more information about our conferences, events that we do, and everything else. Our next conference in January, got to get you out there, man. Next conference in January.
Where's it at? Where's it at?
Yeah, it's in Atlanta. Oh, everything in Atlanta. Everything is in Atlanta. You know where it's at. It's in Atlanta.
No, I'm saying you traveling. You're not traveling.
No. This is the Mecca. Ain't no need to go. Like everybody want to come in. We're going to. But
that's real. That's real.
In January, we just had one past June. We had Jermaine Dupree. We had Issa Rae. We had Miss Kathy Hughes from Radio 1, TV 1. But in January, we got the Colonel of the Tank. We got Master P coming in to talk entrepreneurship.
I saw that ad for that with P on there. Yeah.
Yep. So if you're listening, right, we want you there. But everything you can find out about that and more, trafficsalesandprofit.com.
Man, Lamar, thank you so much for doing this, man.
Thank you, man.
This is super, super dope. Make sure y'all go check out all that stuff. It is literally going to change your mind state of how you market stuff. I'll be trying to take his little tidbits. I'll be seeing his reels and stuff, and I didn't use it for the network. And that's how I built out. We got 10 shows in the network now.
Wow.
So yeah, like this is just one. It's 10, 12 different shows. So this is different ones, different types. So yeah, we building it out, man. And thank you again, bro.
Thank you, man, for having me.